Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Thursday night edition of the show. We're rounding it out, man. As the work week is almost finished. If you're watching live, thanks for being here with us. If you're watching this on Friday, man, you've made it, dude. You're cruising into the weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Speaking of holiday weekends, Cody, wait, it is Mother's Day weekend, correct? I think it is. I have stuff to do with my mom. I know it's my. Well, here's the thing, and we'll get right to football. But here's the thing with me. My mom. I'm a rare case where my mom was born on Mother's Day and my dad was born on Father's Day, and so it's like for them it was always happy, And in the year that they were born, each year they were born literally on that day, right? So their birthdays always fall right around there, and her birthday's this weekend. So it's got to be Mother's Day. I need to get that figured out because I need to buy stuff for my wife too.
It is. I just looked at the calendar.
All right. But speaking of holiday weekends, coming up now, we have Thanksgiving weekend is going to go back like it used to be. It's going to be the Black Friday game, the day after Thanksgiving. T+1 is back for Texas versus the Texas A&M Aggies. I'm just going to look here at the at what they sent earlier today from Thomas as far as the press release. I probably should have had it pulled up a little bit earlier. So it is the 2025 Cotton Holdings Lone Star Showdown. So it's set for the Friday after Thanksgiving, and it looks like it doesn't say this in the release, but it looks like this is going to from what we're sort of hearing. And from what some of the people on the message board are saying that are kind of plugged in behind the scenes that know about some of this administrative stuff, they think it's going to stay like this. So here's what the release says. This season's annual rivalry game between Texas and Texas A&M will be played in Austin on November 28th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on the Friday of the holiday weekend for the first time since 2007. A Thanksgiving tradition, 2025 will mark the first game that's been played on the Friday of the holiday weekend since 2007. In the renewal of the rivalry this past season was played on Saturday, but in the 4 meetings prior to that, from 2008 to 2011, it was held on Thanksgiving Day. Prior to 2008, the game occurred on the Friday of Thanksgiving from 1996 to 2011. So it goes on to talk about they played on a Friday twice in 1974, 1975. They did it once in 1941. There was they did it actually the day after Thanksgiving in 1941. It was on a Thursday because Thanksgiving was on a Wednesday that week. That's weird.
That seems illegal.
Yeah. Like what?
Thanksgiving wouldn't be on a Thursday.
Yeah. In all, 84 of Texas' 119 meetings with Texas A&M have come on Thanksgiving or the day after. So this will be the 120th time in a series that dates back to 1894, with Texas holding a 77 wins, 37 losses, and 5 tie advantage, including a 46-12-1 edge in Austin. This will be the first time these teams have faced off in Austin since 2010, with the last 2 meetings coming in College Station in 2004 and 2011. Texas won 4 of its last 5 in the series, with the lone exception coming in that game in Austin in 2010. So back to the day after Thanksgiving, I think that the feel on the message boards for this is a little bit mixed. For me personally, I love it. I thought that the T+1 game was always the best. I thought, and coming from a family where like shamefully, like I have Aggies, I have Aggies in the family tree for sure, and some of them are loud about it. I'd always, growing up, I thought it was kind of cool to have it growing up on Thanksgiving Day, but I remembered it would always kind of mess up our plans. And if it was a night game, it's like, how late are we staying at my grandma's house? Do we need to get home, before it? Do we really want to sit around here and hang out and watch it with all the these crazy Aggies? And like growing up, I wasn't really a Longhorns fan. My, my parents, my dad and my whole family went to Rice, but we lived in Austin. We liked the Longhorns better than the Aggies. So I feel like it kind of causes some issues for the Thursday game, just with having it on now. Also, there's all the NFL. There's NFL on for starting it from 11 a.m. and then the next game comes on at what, 2:30 p.m. and then they have the nightcap. So they'd be going up against that. It feels like I think they're gonna have an Amazon Prime Black Friday NFL game this year, but that last year, if I remember correctly, was a early afternoon game. So they wouldn't be going up against that, presumably. I think it's great for Texas to have a spotlight, to have this game have a spotlight. It's a very, very hate-filled game. It's a game where I feel like, I don't know, man. You can say what you feel about it just based on your time covering Texas and all the rest. But I feel like from the time I was at Texas, I'd always say at the Oklahoma game, I'd be like, man, as a student and as a fan, right, I would get to that game. I'd be like, man, I hate Oklahoma worse than anybody else. But then I get to the A&M game, I'd be like, no. I definitely hate these guys the most. So it's I think it's good to have it back in the national spotlight, and kind of it's as weird as the Aggies are, man. It's a super cool game. It's a cool tradition. I haven't even looked at the chat to see if they're happy about it or not. But I don't know. Your thoughts?
Two parts. One, I was impressed with your opening monologue, 6 minutes and 19 seconds. I thought you were going to break your record, which was like 8:10. And and the reason I started even thinking about that was because before we even got on, you're like, yeah, we're going to talk about this game, but we probably don't got very much to talk about on it. And I was like,
they're moving the game.
It was impressive. You just went 6 minutes of pure storytelling.
Well, just like worthless analysis. But it's
the
way I feel about the game.
No, right? I love it. That's why I'm saying it. I love it because I'm sitting here, right? I get this. I see the email come through today, and I'm like, I know people care about this because I know last year when it came out that it was going to be on Saturday, people were throwing tissy about it, right? And then I saw today when it came out, Billy Lucci, of course, from the A&M side, quote tweets it, says, I don't like it, but many will. I'm a Thanksgiving or Saturday after my guy. So he likes either the Thanksgiving day or Saturday. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, truthfully, I don't give a damn. Like, I don't care. It's like, I would prefer, as far as my weekend of football watching, give it to me on Friday, because I know the NFL's got me on Thursday. I know Saturday's dialed just because of general. Sunday is Sunday, and Friday we got the Amazon Black Friday game. It's like, well, I would just prefer it be Friday, so I get 4 full days of football.
Yeah.
But I don't have any thought, any care in the world from like a Texas perspective, because I don't know. I've never lived in the ethos of like this game. It obviously doesn't touch me the same way it touches people that have went to both schools, or like South End Zone Queen in the chat. She's like, it's stupid. I hate it. The student section will be empty, just like basketball games during break. Like, there's a point of view. Like, I don't have a view other than to be like,
big feelings about this. It's crazy.
Exactly. And I don't know how to feel about it. I don't really have an opinion other than the fact that my overall football fandom preference would be give it to me on Friday, just so I can have, a whole 4-day weekend of football.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. To be completely honest, I mean, the last time that this game was played in Austin, what did they say? 2010. I mean, that was dude. I was certainly still I was watching Texas games and stuff back then, but I wasn't working, doing this stuff. 2010. I was actually touring in a big tour bus. So I don't remember
how many Aggie games have you been to? And have you ever been to College Station?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've been to three at College Station and 3 at Texas.
Okay. So I thought you were going to say 3 in total. So I would have assumed all 3 while you were in college.
Yeah. I think that I've definitely been to 3 at College Station, and I would think I've been to as many in Austin, but I've been to 3 in Collie for sure.
And have they all been on a certain day?
I've been there 3 times, and I wouldn't have gone for another game besides Texas.
Yeah. Do have they all been on like a Friday or a Saturday?
Do you know what? I think one of them might have actually been on a Thursday on the actual Thanksgiving day. I think maybe there was one day where I had to leave my family to go up there and go stay at my buddy's house that night. But I think the one where I went with my buddy, the two I went with my buddy Cody up there were both definitely on Friday because he would have to come back down from Dallas whenever he would visit his family. So I think one was on a Thursday and two were on Fridays. I just love the Friday game, man. I like all the attention being on the game. I think it's awesome. So pumped to have that back.
So South End McQueen says, I think the real reason is because the winner gets an extra day, just like Georgia, to prepare for the SEC championship because Georgia plays Georgia Tech on that day.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Is that a tradition?
Yeah.
A T+1
on Friday? Yeah. Well, they probably call it a G+1, but.
Huh. Okay. Well, fair enough.
It's a good point.
Good stuff. All right. A couple of things we wanted to get to today that we want to make sure. I don't know. We have your stuff with I did a little thing in the war room that I think we could probably talk about. It has to do with Jake Majors. I caught up with somebody sort of about him and about what his situation is with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm not sure we need to get into that right this instant, but you have your NIL article up today over at Orange Bloods. You have your behind enemy lines that we never even talked about yesterday. Jason has his new recruiting board updates with the updated odds. There's also Jay Brooks, man.
Traded him for the 306, baby.
Out for the entire 2025 season.
We knew this already.
Well, it's like I know, but it kind of just
how good are we at our jobs, dude?
I understand. Well, we've been telling people this right for a long time, but I think that it's just like it kind of whenever they add him to the physically unable to perform list, which basically said it doesn't matter, like he won't be able to even come back by the end of the season or whatever. It's fine. It's best for him. I want that for Jay Brooks, but I'm just like, man, what a bummer this whole thing's been for him. It's going to be like, what, 3 years since he's played football when he finally gets to play again?
Yeah, man. It always should have been he never played last year. That was always he just shouldn't have played last year. Everybody knew it, and they went and forced it, and it's stupid. But staying in that state of North Carolina, we love Michael Lombardi. And in my NIL piece today, I had a thing about Michael Lombardi from inside Carolina. Michael Lombardi says 4 to 5 UNC players have backed out of NIL contracts. And the quote goes on to say a bunch of stuff, including, over the last 5 months, a total of 51 players left North Carolina in the transfer portal, the most transfer departures of any ACC team, the most for the Tar Heels in the portal era. Michael Lombardi told ACC Network's Mark Packer on Monday that multiple players have backed out of signed NIL deals since he and Belichick arrived on campus in December.
Levon Johnson included?
I assume, citing the loosely written language of the contracts as a contributing factor. And a quote from Lombardi said, "The most disappointing thing about the college game that I've experienced is that the players don't view the contracts as binding." Lombardi said, I come from a league where the contracts are binding. We've had 4 or 5 players we signed in December before we got here, and they've left already without any hesitation. They're free to do that because the contracts are loosely written based on NIL. We as a league, the NCAA, and all of the conferences have to make players honor a contract when they put their John Hancock on it, just like I have to honor my contract. That's part of life. And the only disappointing thing.
That doesn't sound like Lombardi to me. That sounds like a whiner.
But I mean, if you're being honest with yourselves, like look at where Lombardi's used to being. He's used to being in the NFL where everything is binding.
Are they not doing well? Are things not going well?
Well, Lombardi and Belichick have assembled an impressive transfer portal class. They have 34-man portal class that ranks number 9 in the country, number 3 in the ACC behind Miami and Florida State, who are 3 and 6 overall, respectively. Only 3 Power 4 schools have larger commitment lists than North Carolina. That's West Virginia, 51, Purdue, 50, Oklahoma State, 38. There's been a noticeable emphasis on size and UNC's portal additions. 10 of the Tar Heels transfers are 6'5" or taller, and 9 are 300 pounds or more. Lombardi was quoted to say, "I've got to make this team look like a Southeast Conference team. We need a roster conducive to building a big, fast, physical football team, a roster that can play in any kind of weather, has mental and physical toughness, and can control the middle of the field. You cannot be a great executive in football without studying the past history of football. Why did Clemson win championships? Why was Florida State so good? What made Miami good? It's because they've been so damn good along the offensive and defensive line. They're physical, blah, 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 blah." And he's talking about the size of defenders. They're 6'5", they're not 6'1". They're 350 pounds. We've added 450 pounds of muscle and lost 125 pounds of fat with this team that we have since January. I don't know how the hell I don't know how that maths, but that's what he says.
Well, they're dude. Like I have a scale at my house that you can just stand on that kind of give you a rough body fat estimation. I mean,
I don't trust those scales. I don't trust those. I think the real tools that they use in like doctors' offices.
But what I'm saying is, if they have that sort of technology, even if it's a rinky-dink technology that barely even works, right? It's like imagine what they have at a university.
Yeah. I mean, they have the in-body stuff that I know you can stand on and it can measure all that stuff, but it's I don't know. Anyway, the point is, and I think the totality of his problem is the binding of contracts is what it is. You can't have a binding contract when there's no actual employment. That's the whole thing with the CBA and the hypothetical CBA that should be curated here in the next year or two. You can't you can't have a binding contract. You can't sign something that states you have to be here and fulfill a contract if you're not an employee, of said institution. Wrong?
Well, I mean, this gets into this gets us into the circular.
But this is the thing. This is what he's bitching about.
In circles about. Like it's just like it gets us back to the thing. It's like, all right, well, what do you do? Do you make them employees?
Yep, that's the only answer. It's been the only answer.
I mean, it's like, but it feels right, but it's like it feels like a pretty icky. It feels icky, you know?
Why?
I understand. Well, it's just.
Did you work at the school in college? Did you work at the lunchroom or anything?
No, I worked
or like a lab or anything. Did you work anywhere on campus?
No, I didn't. My jobs were I was like a bouncer and stuff. I did,
Okay.
I
worked at the wellness center, right? I worked at the school's wellness center. My wife worked at a lab. So we were both technically employees of the school whilst we went to school at the school. Technically.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So what I don't understand the big problem, and again, maybe I'm just being naive here, but I don't understand what the big deal is about having kids be employees.
Okay. Well, I guess to me, it just to me, I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. I don't really know what I can say. I don't know what I can say about that. It's a good point. It's like, what's it different that this guy just plays football for the school and this guy is the dude who like
washes the dishes
like
for everybody that eats.
The student who goes and like cleans it, like you're in there sniffing jock straps at the gym, right? Yeah. Doing that kind of stuff. It's just,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing, technically the same.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but it's I don't know, man. It's still like I look if it's inside me, because here's where I'm at. It's like I understand. I'm somebody who, whenever I can understand where something's logical conclusion is set to take it, right? It's like, all right, well, what's the logical conclusion we're going to get to if we keep following along this line of logic, right? If we keep going down this path, what are we going to get to, right? I'm generally Bayesian in that process, and I like to think of myself as somebody who's going to change his mind, and as I'm presenting new evidence and stuff like that. And even me, that generally thinks like open-minded guy, I just kind of get the ick about hearing a college football player as an employee. Well, right. It's just, and I think other people do too, but it's just you're gonna have to do something. And whenever I heard Lombardi just now talk, what he had said, that stuff about football done right, like that kind of stuff, gridiron genius stuff, the stuff
Yeah.
about studying the templates of these past winners. Just if you don't study history, you are doomed to repeat it in all the worst ways. Like this is all the stuff like that sounds like Michael Lombardi to me. This whole stuff about how like when, they don't, you know, I'm not used to them not honoring their contracts. It's like, man, kind of sounds, that just doesn't sound as much like Lombardi to me. Lombardi would be the kind of guy that I would generally use. Say somebody would say that, and he'd be like, "Well, the rules are the rules. Figure out a way to get it done."
Fair. Did you see the commission that is potentially going to be created by President Donald Trump that features Texas billionaire businessman and Texas Tech board chair / booster Cody Campbell, along with
that guy sure runs that place these days, doesn't he?
Well, yes, and Nick Saban. So that's the commission right now is Cody Campbell and Nick Saban.
Oh, wait.
That's the presidential
for the executive order.
That's what I'm reading to you, and that's what I'm saying. The commission will be led by Alabama's Nick Saban and billionaire Cody Campbell. Multiple sources told Yahoo late last night.
Why do they put the guy from Tech who's buying all the players on that thing?
This is why I'm bringing it up to you. Does that not feel like a little bit of a conflict of interest, given he is the the billionaire booster that's making Tech relevant right now in all these conversations in NIL, having him be what puts, like, other than really being the biggest swinging
what
in the room, why does he deserve to be up there? Why is it not? And this is what I wrote in the bottom of my column. You guys can go read this whole thing. It's over on Yahoo. I also have it on Orange Bloods. I put it in there. But my thought was, why, first off, why is he there? Like, I get why Saban is, because Saban's regarded right now as the GOAT. Like, he's the top of the food chain as far as definitely the alive coaches right now. And, people are like, well, Saban got out because he didn't want to deal with this. It's like, yeah, but guess who, has the respect of all the coaches that are currently in the sport and all the top end coaches. And guess who, like Sark talks to Saban, like all these guys talk to Saban and they know Saban and they've all dealt with Saban. Also, like, if you're going to go GOAT coach and you're going to go billionaire, why not give us the analyst of the people? Give us Josh Pate as the third wheel there.
Pate would be good.
Pate would be a great third. We did three dudes. Give us a third dude. Give us Josh Pate.
Or like Klatt.
No, give me Pate. I don't want Klatt. I don't need a quarter. I don't need some former player.
I'm not sure I want Pate, dude. He's gonna want to put Texas back in a conference with Baylor and Texas Tech and stuff.
Here's the thing.
I'm not doing that.
I think Tech is going to end up. This is my bold call for the next 5 years. Tech is going to end up in the Super Conference. It's not going to be called the SEC. Maybe it's going to be called the SEC. Tech's going to end up in the Super Conference, though.
You think Baylor will?
Maybe.
Gosh, I hope not,
dude. For my behind enemy lines thing the other day, we're a lot of Oklahoma conversation there, and people were like, "Isn't it weird that you don't even really have to worry about Tech's more of a worry right now than Oklahoma, and when it comes to like DFW." And I was like, "Well, think about it in totality of like recruiting right now. Like, you're honestly a little bit more worried about Tech, SMU, and Baylor than Oklahoma."
SMU, I couldn't believe it. Did you see that they raised $1.58 billion for their endowment? A lot of that's going to be going towards athletics and stuff. Dude, they're committed to it. I'll tell you what. Shay from Texas Beef Traders, he went to SMU. He's a giant SMU fan.
He loves that.
This guy. And here's the thing about it: it's Southern Methodist University, and Shay is Jewish. And he goes to Southern Methodist University just because I guess he came from a rich family. They all went there. But listen, do you know what Shay can cook? What he can cook with the brisket up there at Texas Beef Traders? You ought to go up there one day whenever they're doing this, and you never know when it's going to be. But do you know that pastrami like they have at the delis up in like pastrami and corned beef, you know that's brisket, right?
Mm-hmm.
He takes the briskets from there and he makes them into pastrami, and it's like Cody. You've never like whenever Shay's up there cooking those pastramis in the back, you've never had anything like it. But here's the thing: anytime you go in there to Texas Beef Traders, they're always kind of cooking something up. You're always gonna get to try something new. And there's always gonna be an interesting thing that you're gonna, that Darren will send you home with. Like, for example, I'm eating Texas Beef Traders tonight, like I do on a lot of nights, right? And do you know what I'm eating today? I'm eating. Darren just kind of threw it. He threw it to me. He's like, "Hey man, I was cutting up beef tenderloins earlier. Here's some beef tenderloin trim. It's like 3.5 pounds of it. It's frozen. Just unfreeze it and go whenever you go home. Just trim it out and see what you're going to get out of it. So right after I get done this, I'm going to get to go cut up a bunch of steaks. Right? I mean, I'm going to have to trim them myself and stuff. But that's the kind of cool stuff. Like he's like, man, it's just such a cool, awesome place. The beef is so good. It is, it's all vaccine free. It's antibiotic free. There's no steroids. There's no, all non-GMO. Texas Beef Traders. You get 10% off. It's right there in the heart of Lakeway. Just tell them that you heard about them on Football with Friends here with Alex and Cody, man. Those are our guys, dude. Those are our dudes, man. We love those guys. Darren, Shay, they are the absolute best. And yeah, man, if you're ever thinking about getting catering for a party or something like that, I would call up Shay and I would think very, very strongly about that pastrami. That's what put his catering company on the map. Just delicious. TexasBeefTraders.com. The other thing Shay does that he loves about SMU is he gets to caters all their university tailgates that are there for like the rich old dudes who come, right? They pay like whatever, $50 a plate to come in there and eat the food. So he's all in on this SMU stuff. But I couldn't believe $1.5 billion. These guys have been waiting. They've been waiting to unleash these checkbooks.
Texas Beef Traders also tomorrow night has a wine tasting. They posted this up on their Instagram yesterday that Friday night, May 9th, 6 to 9 p.m. is going to be exclusive wine tasting. So if you ever thought about going in there to get beef and you like wine, Alex will vouch for that.
Well, then I'll be up there tomorrow night. If anybody wants to come say what's up, if he's doing some wine tasting, I'm going to go taste the wine because he's going to crack open some sick bottles if he's doing that. So
I don't know anything about these bottles, but he's got them listed on their Instagram. You can go check it out at Texas Beef Traders. But yeah, 6 to 9 tomorrow.
Is there anything? Is there anything on there? Is there one called Duet?
Duet.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says Reserva. It's Albarino, Pinot Noir, Rosé, Cabernet Franc, Tannat, and then there's a single vineyard called Arbarino,
Yeah.
Petit Verdot, and then there's a flagship allocation called Balasto.
Okay.
I'm not a wine connoisseur.
All this stuff, all the wines you're gonna have there because Darren he's also a winemaker, and all of his where he planted his grapes is in the Washington State Walla Walla Valley, and I forget the slope, but it's one of the really good ones. They're really good wines up there. They have a lot at Texas Beef Traders, so make sure and go check them out and check them out tomorrow for that wine tasting. Hey, did we ever talk about what you said about how just the worries about Oklahoma?
I don't think so.
Because we talked about Mateer, but you said that we talked about they're probably going to be kind of bad. Whenever I was reading your column, what stood out to me was that there were people on the OU message boards, and like now, are you starting to get to look at the On3 ones now?
Yes,
you probably should. There's going to be better.
I did.
Sooner
Scoop though. I'm just very I went on Sooner Scoop for the first time this week, and their reporting was the same as OU Insider, but I didn't go see like if they have boards or anything. I didn't scroll through the boards.
Okay,
over there yet, but A&M doesn't have one either.
A&M doesn't have an On3 site.
No.
So Aggie Yell, dude. Well, here's the thing. It's like
Aggie Yell sucks.
Tex Aggs is the gorilla in the room, and it's really hard to compete with them. And I think that's that. I'm not sure that this new rivals On3 what the merger. Like, I'm not sure we're gonna get a bunch of extra A&M coverage out of this thing. It's really, I mean, like Texas sucks all the helium out of the room, and they cost like $17 a month. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a little bit.
the
So what was your biggest? Did you have a takeaway from the
Yeah,
Oklahoma?
and I forget exactly what it was, but one of the posters on there was saying something
We're
about how
we're in serious problems with recruiting.
well, about how it had to do with Jim Nagy overhauling their board or something like that. Did Jim Nagy come in there and overhaul the board? And if so,
So
is he trying to sabotage Brent Venables?
well, so that was from the recruiting note that Alzur Miles, who's a wide receiver, and he's been one of the receivers on their board that they've talked about on their page for a minute. It's not like he's this super high-end guy, but he's a 4-star. He's the 42nd ranked receiver in the country. But that's also the avenue at which they're recruiting right now. They're competing against Kansas and SMU and Texas Tech for players. SMU gets the commitment from this guy or this kid. And the response was early indications I can't talk. I've received is exchanging a few texts with sources in the matter of the SMU launched a full court press in the last few weeks, which kind of coincides with the shifting sands in the OU recruiting office due to Jim Nagy's arrival and subsequent overhaul of the board. I don't have any reasons to believe that OU backed off Miles, but the Mustangs charged hard. No pun intended, was what he wrote. So yes, to your point, you could say that. You could say, which is also wild because they're in like the middle of recruiting. Right?
Yeah, I mean, just like
Official visits are.
it feels like coming in and overhauling the board, and I could understand him. Like, oh well, I mean, it's fine because look what he just got done doing in the spring portal window.
Wait,
But did he got done doing anything in the spring portal window that's any good?
well, that's the two-headed monster there, right? Like you and I will sit here and say, all right, well, he went out and got a bunch of these dudes that are from small schools that can probably play football, whether it's Western Carolina, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Southern Illinois. Like there's some sleepers here.
He went and got some Jim Nagy specials.
Some Jim Nagy specials that like you and I will know, like we're not going to overlook these guys. Now, the Arkansas Pine Bluff receiver already blew his leg out and blew his knee out, which is kind of just how their receiver room has went the last couple of years. But like it's the like Jade Knott, even like he's from Cal, but that's a Jim Nagy special. He loves Jade Knott. He's tweeted about him 10 times in the last year and a half. Like that's one of his guys. But yeah,
if he'd had a better season last year, he'd have been at the Senior Bowl this year.
100%. Yeah,
Nagy loves him.
I would bet you. I mean, you'll never know it because Nagy will probably never do an interview and say it. But I would bet money he sent him a invite. I would bet, just because he likes him as a prospect, just whatever. But yeah, I think there's like a certain point in the season this past year, if you've paid attention to either their site or to the Behind the Enemy Lines column every week, that like the Oklahoma fan page kind of just like turned and you could feel it.
Nagy?
No. Oh. During the season, it turned from positive to negative, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say there's like a shift right now because it hasn't been positive predominantly. Every week I write up something and it's like, when are the 5 stars coming? When are the 4 stars visiting? When is this? When is this? Why is this? What is that? Like, and the odd thing right now, if you read, is the Kevin Ford thing. Kevin Ford, the edge rusher from Duncanville.
Is that Kevin? Is KJ Ford?
Yes, same guy. KJ, Kevin, same guy.
Probably Kevin Jr. KJ.
Yep, Kevin Jr. He's the number 9 ranked edge rusher in the country. He's player 101 overall. He's taken unofficials to Ohio State and A&M and USC and Penn State and Alabama. He's got OVs for Auburn and Oklahoma, SC, Alabama. Like he's got these big ones, right? Texas, for all intents and purposes, like 2 months ago was the report, I think, from Jason that said that they kind of like came off a little bit of Ford. That was the report at the time. Now, the reporting around Kevin Ford is that he pushed his OV back to the fall. He'll no longer be in town for their Champ U barbecue, which is their big thing that they brag about on their site about, like, if you get him for the Champ U barbecue, we got a chance. Like, that was, I think they had Fasusi there last year.
I mean, we clowned him last year saying who cares about it because Fasusi, who cares about this stupid barbecue, and Fasusi ends up going there. So
yeah.
I mean,
And so
maybe it is a big deal. I don't know. It sounds lame as can be to me, but who knows? Maybe it's a cool party.
Texas has a pool party, so I mean, it's kind of thrown,
Yeah.
But anyway, he says he intends to take an OV at Oklahoma during the season. We'll see if that happens. The one note was the first comment. This is the first comment that came with under the post on OU Insider had 21 likes. I love doing this. I love putting the nuggets in here from like what the fans say back to these posts.
Mm-hmm.
And that they get a bunch of likes. This one just said in response, at what point do you just give up on Duncanville and stop wasting your time and embarrassing yourself?
Good luck. Hey, you want to give up on? I mean, you want to see that? You want to see that ground? Go ahead. Like, I wish, if you're a Texas fan, you would wish that they would just say, forget Duncanville. Just let Texas have it. Let the other schools have Duncanville. Are you kidding me?
Well, that was kind of the thing. Was like that's the I can't remember who wrote it in here. It might have been a response, but I thought it was under the Oklahoma one. Gosh, I can't remember it a second ago. But basically, where did it go? Here it was. It's hard to ignore that OU is struggling with recruiting lately. Right now, we only have one player committed in the top 20 in Oklahoma and in the top 50 in Texas.
Well, I mean, you can't rely on Oklahoma for your recruiting base. You rely on DFW. Like that's just like you can't. You just got to consider Texas as part of your natural recruiting base if you're Oklahoma. That's just. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So to say like that's just a tilted fan. That's a tilted fan, and I'll be interested to see, man, how it goes for the rest of this cycle with recruiting. I'll be honestly most interested to go to Specs and just see like, so is the new tequila sale? Is it all the tequilas on sale? Is it just some of them? Let's see if there's any new information here.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs. Shop Specs! No matter what's on the menu, we've got you covered. With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Shop Specs! Special occasion? Flirt responsibly. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here.
Shop Specs, low priced, amazing. Here's to you.
All right. Thanks to Specs. Thanks to Texas Beef Traders. Thanks to Poncho Outdoors. Cody, you got anything you want before we get out of here and we turn it in before Final Takes Friday?
Nah, I'll keep it for tomorrow.
All right. Final Takes tomorrow. Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find us on X at Cody Carpentier, at Alex Dunlap NFL. Please, just 4 quick things, man. If you could like the show, subscribe to the channel. If you have a friend that might like the show, if you could forward it to him, we would really appreciate it. It's because of y'all that we've helped the show continue to grow, even here in just the doldrums of the off season, man. We can't thank y'all enough for all that. And finally, if it's your first time watching the show, just please come back and see us again. We'll be back tomorrow for a Final Takes Friday edition of the show right here on Orange Bloods Live. Can't wait for it, man. Headed into a big Mother's Day weekend. All right. Love you guys. Have fun. God bless you. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.